Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. It is March 23rd. We're going to be looking at a little technical analysis, talking about BBBY, what's going on. It's been a while since I've done a recap video. I apologize. Gotten caught up with so much stuff. Anyways, SPY's moving up here. I'm going to show you options trades we've done, some futures trades. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. You can follow us on Twitter at HappyMoneyYT, as well as Discord server. We have both those, link for them are in the description. I can't even remember where we left off last video. I think BBY was probably like $15 and we were all popping champagne bottles. No, just kidding. It wasn't that long ago. However, it was a bit ago. Anyways, I'll just pick up to where we are now. JPal kind of had mixed signals. 25 basis points. And then he said in his statement, he said it sounded like they were maybe going to pause next meeting. But then when he got us questions, he said they're definitely not going to pause. Then we had this sell-off, bit of a bounce here, and then today it's just been a big sell-off, and now we're bouncing back up. What do you know? Banks, since my last video, I mean, banks have, I think we've had bankruptcies since then. Not sure, but banks still aren't looking good. A lot of them are just consolidating at the lows. So I expect probably a few more bank failures, at the very least. SPY, it's a little choppy right now, hard to really get a good idea on which way it's going. The longer term here, it looks like it's kind of bullish still with this inverted head and shoulders of sorts. The MACD is bullish. We have green over the 9, even though we have these big volatility, big red candles in there too. So I'm not too certain. Tomorrow it might be kind of red, but I don't know. I feel like we could kind of keep even climbing up here. But yeah, that said, a lot that's been holding us up has been Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia. You know, these charts, you wouldn't even know anything was going on. They're all just been so bullish. So the bank's been holding it down, and you know, maybe big tech will start to let it go pretty soon here. But not great coming into Friday, so maybe kind of a red Friday. GME, of course, if you haven't heard, they beat expectations on their earnings, beat it by like 30%, positive quarter for EPS, and yeah, so big gap up 50% on that. If you look into it a little bit, it looks like part of the reason they were able to get a positive EPS is really just because they're selling through inventory. So they really need to kind of maintain this positive EPS next quarter and, you know, quarter after quarter once they start replenishing their inventory, because they had a huge surplus of inventory. Let's see, yeah, last couple years they just kept buying. So and then now they have 1.4 billion cash and cash equivalents, so stacking up on cash even more, which is great. So it still looks fixed to me though. GME is looking very fixed and normal. Big gap up on an earnings beat makes sense, and huge volume yesterday. Actually had more volume on GME yesterday than the SPY. I think it even closed that way too. Yeah. Oh no, it didn't close that way. For a lot of the day though, GME was outpacing SPY's volume. But after JPal, we caught a lot of volume. So it doesn't, I'm not sure if we're gonna do a pinch cycle rally repeating. We're coming down here. That was probably about my last video. I'm like, looks like we're gonna double bottom, maybe get a new low RSI divergence. Didn't get the new low on RSI divergence, but we did double bottom. I started going long here on leaps, and even some shorter options. Closed out of some of them before earnings because I wasn't expecting a huge gap up, so didn't have as much exposure as I'd liked. However, I did have some, so had a few, I don't know, 500% or so. And I've sold off a lot of them now, and that's because the intraday moves aren't looking like we're in some cycle pinch type thing. This is just looking like a normal stock that had good earnings, and in the macro environment right now, it's, you know, money's not flowing and it's a lot of stuff's bearish. So really need to see what happens if we do break over 30, if it does start to go kind of parabolic like it did back here and like it's done before. But so far we haven't seen anything too crazy with GME. It's been very subdued. So potentially keep kind of coming down and filling this gap after that big gap up. This is kind of a bearish inverted hammer here, and solid support though would be 1940. A little ways down from here now, but I have to kind of wait and see. But that being said, I mean, a good earnings report, if the market's not completely selling off, GME could have a continuation to the upside. So far, it's more or less just consolidating and kind of retracing some of the move. So look for where it finds support and might have a bounce and break of that high from there. Break of that 27 high. SPY's moving up there in that last 10 minutes. Yeah, and then I accidentally had those leaps. I had covered calls on them, and I didn't close them before that rip. So I had 18 covered calls that I held through that 50% rip, because I did the stream for the earnings call, and it was kind of a mess. So anyways, that was like a $6,000 mistake, fortunately. So I actually rolled them yesterday, and then I had to roll them out to December and 21.5 strikes. So I have 20 long calls and then 21.5 for the short calls. But I actually ended up just closing them. It was a profit. I don't know. It's like $600 or something. I didn't see the need to close it, and they were losing value as GME's coming down, even though I had that short leg. So bit of a fail, but that's okay. BBY, on the other hand, some news has come out on it. This thing has continued to kind of flush and make new lows. Every little reversal we maybe potentially see keeps failing. So it really seems news dependent to have a rally, unless if we're waiting for maybe a cycle, one of these cycles. And if it isn't until a cycle, we're looking at like June. Yeah, probably like June before we do it. But I think we'll get news that will probably rip this thing before then. Lots of different filings coming out. Let's see, the reverse split and all that. Was that even? So BBY they put a filing out saying they're going to be voting on a reverse. No. They said we might vote on a reverse split at a future date. We don't know the date, and we don't know the reverse split amount. However, you have to have your shares. You have to have your shares and hold your shares to be able to vote by Monday, so 27th. So basically, if you're short shares or you've loaned out your shares on margin, whatever, you have to recall your shares by Monday if you want to have a vote, and that's it. So it doesn't mean we're voting on Monday. We might, but it could be any future date. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if we'll actually have a reverse split or actually have a vote on it. Could be a bluff. We'll see. But the only date they gave us was the date for when you had to basically recall your shares. So that is kind of interesting. And then the filing this morning that came out, still kind of trying to figure out exactly how to decipher it. It seems like the holders of the warrants took off the stipulation about the floor and basically said, you know, it can go below that dollar threshold price before April 3rd, which was what the date was for it. And then potentially one of the holders of the warrants also maybe are able to publicize information that was private before. They were under, I don't know, NDA or whatever. There's two parts to the filing, so it's on our Discord if you want to read it and tell me what you think. But yeah, at any rate, BY at this point, you kind of just want it to be flat since it's just been down. So flat is good. We're looking for flat. So did kind of break down today. Unfortunately, it looks like a little bear flag, and looks like we might not hold these levels tomorrow or maybe next week. So maybe new lows coming. 76, 79 is that low, and today's 78.01. So I haven't opened up any new positions on it. I haven't done cover calls. Kind of got out of my cover calls. We'll continue to just roll the cash secured puts. Those long plays on the leaps that I told you about, like I said, I closed them. I still have a 125 call. This one I bought on GME yesterday. In case we do get a continuation, I'll just leave that. And then these shares and the cash secured puts that I'm just rolling on BBBY. And then the options on GME I closed today. Closed out my shares on XXII, broke through that support. I didn't like it, and closed out of those calls. I had one call I legged into with a 25 short call. So down on that. And then yeah, I guess I still have these shares. GNS shares I still have. Thinning it out. I'm still stuck in nat gas. That's tying up a lot of my margin. This thing has come down again. Made this little inverse head and shoulders. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then it started going, then it flushed through there. I didn't want to take losses at that point, so holding, and then supposedly bounced supposedly bounced on this low again and even made an engulfing candle on UNG here, but now we're coming back down. So I still think there's strength there and it will rally. If it breaks through this low, I don't know if I'll hold or cut the loss there, but the demand destruction and a recession I think is hitting natural gas. Yeah, more than I actually realized it would hit natural gas. I knew oil. I figured, for some reason I figured nat gas would be more resilient to it, but more so I guess that nat gas is at such a cheap price already that it seems like there's, you know, can only get so cheap. There's going to be demand for it. And then I remind myself during COVID, oil went negative, so there's always that scare. But anyways, that's what I got, guys. I'm sure I'm missing stuff. That's a lot to recap from that amount of time. I'll try and keep doing recaps. I'm trying to ease up my schedule, but if you guys haven't, hit the notification bell, jump on stream when you can, and come hit me up with questions there or whatever, and we'll have fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good afternoon. Peace out.